So I'm here with Jackie Hurdle, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
Okay. She is the candidate for the 4th award
Correct.
for council, and we're just going to have a conversation about her position, what you plan to do, and what you want to do as council. So thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you for inviting me.
Can you just tell us something about who you are?
Okay, well, currently I am payroll manager for SKG Consulting, and I do the payroll and invoicing for multi-billion-dollar accounts, and I've been there for 21 years. Prior to that, I worked for Pallant Construction in administration, and I helped put together bids for $1 million projects.
Okay.
Then I come from a family of 7 kids.
Are you the oldest, the youngest, middle?
Number 6.
So, you're the second to last?
Second to the last.
Mostly brothers or sisters? Or
there are 4 girls and 3 boys.
Okay.
And it was very interesting growing up, but so much fun. I would not give up any of that.
How long have you lived in Roselle Park?
Roselle Park, I've been there for 7 years
Okay.
with my husband, Dwayne. I have a stepson, Skylar, and I grew up in Plainfield. I don't know if I mentioned that.
That's all right, yeah.
Okay.
So Plainfield.
So I really enjoy Roselle Park. We came here because, I don't know, my husband had gone to a couple different towns and he thought this was an interesting town. And he said it seems like a nice place, nice people, so let's try it out, and we did.
So why do you want to run for council?
Basically because it seems like we have no one that represents us right now, and I would love to be the person that would represent us. I don't know, everyone needs to be kept informed of what's going on, and I did not even know who my councilman was.
Okay.
Right, no one had ever reached out. I never received anything in the mail, any kind of newsletters or anything, which is one thing I would like to do. And I don't know, like when there are issues, it seems like there's no one that we can turn to. Because I don't know, some issues came up over the years, and you kind of have to go down to the town and respond to them yourself.
How does that, you're working in HR, working in a corporation, and just you as a mom and a wife and a resident, how does all that, how do you think that will help you if you're elected as council?
Well, I look at the family part. Growing up in a big family, I always had to listen to what everyone else wanted. It wasn't just my way. A lot of times I didn't have any say because I was one of the younger ones. Yes. Growing up with so many kids, we were taught to be frugal, to stretch a dollar, not spend any money that you don't have to spend. Just, everyone's opinion counts, not just your own. And with my work experience, I've been able to adapt. Like when I first started working for SKG Consulting, I was working for a different division in the company, and I was basically doing mostly administrative work.
All right.
And I was typing resumes. And when the economy went bad, they were going to let me go, but another division said we would like to keep her, but she would have to learn how to do payroll and different things that she's never done before. So I was like, I'll do it. If I can keep my job, I will do it. So I've been able to adapt to whatever situation has been put in front of me.
All right.
So I feel it would be good. Hopefully.
And speaking with residents in your ward,
Yes.
Because you've gone door to door.
Yes.
What have you heard back besides your own concerns? So what have you heard back from people about what their concerns are? Not maybe with the town, but the block, the ward. What have you heard?
Most of the complaints are about taxes. They're tired of the taxes. They're not happy here because of that. It seems like the other issues are small.
But of course not for them, because,
Exactly. And I don't know, maybe the situation with the taxes could have been explained to some of the residents. Like they weren't sure how they're coming up with the pricing that they're getting, the reevaluation. Another issue was about some abandoned houses that are in foreclosure. And I was thinking that maybe we could somehow, maybe some contracting companies would consider coming in and doing a remodel and then flipping the house. And then we'll get some new people into the community.
Okay.
And
Did you, when you went door to door, did you see a lot of abandoned houses or houses in foreclosure?
we saw about 3, and one of the residents was complaining about one that thinks the owner's renting out as it's in foreclosure, but they're kind of letting it go. The lawn's not being taken care of, the outside of the house is not. So that's a concern of the residents.
Okay.
Okay, and then also not being informed of what's going on. Like, a lot of the residents didn't know about the new apartments that are going up, so they weren't able to take part in any of that.
And so let's say you get elected. Next Tuesday you find out you won.
Okay.
How do you plan to address like the issue, the questions? So you're going to get a lot of more phone calls, right?
Right, exactly.
And you're going to get people going, hey, I talked to you about your taxes, so what are you going to do?
Okay.
They're going to say, Jackie, what are you going to do for me about the taxes and the houses?
Right. For the taxes, the only thing is, I'm sure I can't lower them, but we can work at not getting an increase in taxes again by bringing in business to the community. That would not be a burden on the taxes, but would actually give us some tax money. Something that could be fun too, something that people would like to go to as a community and enjoy.
And with the abandoned properties and stuff like that, and the communication. So you said that you were going to do a newsletter, and I will tell you,
Yes.
I've heard that numerous times. And,
Right.
But, and this is not a slight to those other people. It comes at you in a huge wave, right? And then the newsletter becomes, because you've got to keep up with everything that's coming every 2 weeks. And the newsletter becomes kind of to the side, right? And many of them try, and bless them for trying.
Right.
But just because of the massive amount of responsibilities, that is no longer sustained.
Right.
So how do you plan to adjust to, an influx of responsibility, and keeping that objective of having a newsletter or some form of communication?
Okay, some kind of communication.
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking also of social media, Facebook, where we could just post things right away, and it would be a place where the residents could go to see what is going on around the town. The website, put some more information on the website.
You mean the town website or your own?
Yes, the town website.
Okay.
Especially if new people move into the area. We kind of like to create a new resident page on the website so that they could have resources to go to with helpful information about what's around the area, things like that.
All right. And so these are the goals. What would be your first priority out of the goals that you set for yourself? Which one do you think you would want to focus on the most?
Being responsive. I want to be someone that's out there that they can get in touch with. Respond to their questions. If I don't have an answer for them, I will go and find the answer, not just ignore them. So that's my main goal. And then just keeping them informed. Take care of the pay to play.
Okay, we'll discuss that later about the pay to
That's
play. That's okay. So you feel that you'd be responsive and out there. So do you plan to set
I
up
want them to be able to come to me when they have any issues, and I would try to help them with it.
Okay. And so how will you maneuver, again, because it's the juggling act, though, right? Jackie, the resident, Jackie, the person who wants to help, and then realizing there's this huge monster called bureaucracy. That's going to be like, as with your job, right? So someone comes to you in HR and just says, Jackie, can you help me out with this, right? So you want to, but there's this huge thing that you have to do through all that. Do you plan to use that kind of knowing how to maneuver through a corporation and stuff like that?
Right, like prioritize?
Yes.
And also another idea I had was getting groups together in different neighborhoods and having them be my eyes and ears. Maybe have a meeting with them, once every 2 weeks or once a month. Find out what are the issues in your neighborhood, so that I don't have to go to every person directly.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
they could bring the issues to me, and
Okay.
you know, I'm willing to try to do it.
Okay.
Try to handle it.
And living here 7 years and seeing, what do you find most positive? What do you like most about Roosevelt Park?
It's very diverse.
Okay.
There's so many different lifestyles, ethnicity. It's great. We have everything here. People are really friendly. The only thing that we could improve on is community in the town.
Okay.
Like I said previously, bringing in different business, like maybe making some kind of fun, like coffee shop with jazz music or something like that. Something so people don't have to go out of the community all the time to the neighboring towns to enjoy. You know, like get up on the weekend, you want to go have brunch somewhere. You know, most of the time they go to Cranford, Clark, but I would like for us to get together here as a community and do it in our town.
Actually, thinking one of those things, I don't know if you knew, recently there was a change to the law. In Roosevelt Park, you couldn't serve liquor before noon, and then it was brought back to 9 a.m.
Right.
on a Sunday. And one of the
For the purpose of brunch.
right, no, that was one of the
Yes.
things. Like one of the council people said, "Hey, that's great.
I think it's
It
a
means
great idea.
It's brunch, and then
Right.
you can have and then bring that kind of atmosphere to the town, right? So you
Right.
can come. So that's just something that you'd be like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yes,
Oh,
I do
excellent.
think that is.
All right. So that was one recent issue, but other issues were attempt to repeal pay to play,
Right.
and I'm not if you're familiar with the Kneeling Soldier at the Cross Memorial.
Yes.
And you're going to talk about pay to play. So pay to play, for those who aren't familiar, is there's a law, New Jersey law, that sets a certain limit. People can donate and still work in a town.
Right.
What Roosevelt Park did a couple of years ago was lowered that. There's been attempts to repeal that law and bring it back to the state law. And what are your thoughts on that, pay to play?
I think we should keep the law as it is and enforce it. The only people that could benefit from it is the politicians. I don't see how the town could, because the politicians are getting the money, and then the town is putting out the money to let the contractors come in or
Right.
whoever it be come in that made the big donation.
Right.
So I don't think it benefits the residents at all, only the politicians. So I'm against it.
So if it came up for a vote next year and you were on council,
Right.
You would vote against that. You would vote to keep it.
To keep it,
Okay.
yes.
And the other one was the Kneeling Soldier at Cross.
Right.
What would your thoughts be on? What would your vote have been if you were on council? Say you got on council. What would your vote have been for the Kneeling Soldier?
I don't know that it actually came up for a vote, but
It did.
it did. Okay.
It came up for a
and
vote.
did they vote?
They voted to. So the series of events was Mayor Wilkinson acting. I'm sorry, Carl Wilkinson acting as a resident
Right.
donated it. As mayor, he told the DPW to place it on the library.
Right.
Councilwoman Story, as a resident, objected to it.
Right.
But as a council person, the matter had to become before a vote. In an August meeting, by a vote of 3-2, it was approved, the donation was approved, and the placement at the library was approved. And the councilwoman's objection was that it was just a religious exhibit
Right.
or display on public grounds. And her objection was the public grounds. It wasn't the display itself.
Right.
It was
right.
that it was on
It's
public
where it
grounds.
was being displayed.
And then litigation had been threatened. Then the organization that the councilwoman is a member of and the councilwoman as a resident
Right.
sued the town. The town then unanimously voted to rescind their previous approval.
Right.
So it was taken away. But as of today, the lawsuit is still active.
Okay.
So if you had been on council on that August vote,
Right.
what would your vote have been?
Personally, it doesn't offend me, but I would think the town lawyer should look into it first to see if there is anything like a lawsuit that could come from it, and see if our insurance companies would even before it, going up there. What would I have voted? I'd probably say no until we knew for sure.
So, in addition to going to meetings and addressing residents' concerns, council people are on committees for everything from public safety to technology to finance to DPW to a range of. If you were given a choice to say, okay, Councilwoman Hurdle, you're on council. What do you think you'd be good at? What do you think you'd help us with?
I think I would like to go on code enforcement.
Okay.
Because I would like to work with the communities that are in the apartments to make sure that the landlords are doing everything they have to do. Some people, as I was going door to door, they had issues that they've been trying for months to get fixed. So I think something like that I would like. I also know that in the town, I found out last year we accepted the TNR program, Trap Neutral Release.
Yes.
So I would like to work with animal control possibly on that because I'm a cat lover.
Oh,
I love dogs too.
That'd be great. Well, because,
right
and I will tell you, our current mayor and the council, we are the first town in Union County to have actually done this.
I think it's a great
Yeah?
program, yes. Because I used to go for walks around the
Okay.
town. So
when you go for walks, like, do you take? Does it give you time to enjoy the town, or are you more like there's a problem, or do you like?
No, it's enjoyable. You get to meet people, and a lot of times I'll go and walk at the track at the school.
Okay.
So I enjoy it. And it gives you time to think.
You may be having a lot of those walks if you get. You maybe need to take more walks than usual. That's really good. That's something that you're passionate about. That's really good.
Very passionate.
Because I will tell you, there are very few people who are really just overwhelmed with the requests, and they would love to have someone.
Right.
And they champion the mayor, they support him, but they understand that he doesn't understand it fully, but supported them. So they would love someone like yourself to.
Yes.
That'd be great.
I'd love to help with that.
Great. So we talked a little about the reval. By the way, I don't mean to intrude, but are you a homeowner? Do you own a home?
I'm not.
That's okay.
Rent.
That's quite all right. I just wanted to put it out there.
Okay.
So, but with the town-wide revaluation, as I'm sure you were told or maybe not told.
Right. Like it didn't affect me like it did the
No, but
homeowners.
it affects values.
Rent,
it affects taxes, and again, people move out or people rent because they don't want to. It impacts the quality of life. If you had been on council, and this was actually in 2014, so it was 2 years ago.
I remember it.
If you had been on council then, how would you have voted for the townwide reval?
Probably would have had to vote yes because it hadn't been done in so long, and you need tax money from somewhere. You need money to run the town.
And subsequently, other towns in the county and the state have been told you need to do that now.
Right. So I believe I would have voted yes, but I also feel like the residents in our ward nothing was really explained to them. Like I know some of the other wards actually had videos that were on TV that explained to them how it's done and I don't know how the valuation is done percentage-wise and things like that. And I don't think our ward knew anything about it, so I think that's where the problem lies.
Okay. So, and understanding, because you're a quick learner, right? Because you said you was a point to be like, you're either going to have to learn this or quick. I'll be like, I'll learn it really quick.
Yes.
You'll be given a lot of. I mean, again, if you're elected,
I will have to be trained.
You'll have to basically on the run, just hit the ground running. And do you think that's going to be? Are you kind of prepared for that?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Because I tell everybody, say goodbye to your family for the next whatever year, right?
Right. But the way it's been with running, it's kind of I say goodbye to my family already. sorry, hon, I gotta go. Just got home, but I gotta
Right, it's like
go.
you gotta. So you come in, go out. Okay. All
And
right.
at first I was like, oh, can I do this? But you know what? Going door to door and everything gives me a good feeling, and I think I can do it.
So when you first started, it's kind of that cold kind of thing. It's like okay, and then you're going to the door. So have you made it yours to run for council? Because you didn't go, I'll run. It's like
Right.
like, hey, did you want to run? You'd be like, sure, I'll try. And going door to door and seeing your neighbors and people you
Right.
don't know with their issues and their problems and things that you find heartbreaking or things you find to be like, you have a nice day, sir.
Yes.
I'm sure when the aliens come, they'll be because I'm sure you get a wide range, right, of issues
Yes.
that are like
Yes.
that. How has that talking with people? Has it impassioned you more? Has it focused you more? Has it scared you more?
It has, because there will be some nights where I'm going out, I'm like, oh, this is not for me. And then by the time I get home, I'm like,
Okay.
oh, this is so for me. You know, I could do this, and really help people. And like, when I told some of the people at work that I was running, they're like, really? And they're like, they started asking me questions. I start like spitting out the
Okay.
answers, and they're like, oh my God, where did this energy come from? I'm like, I think I really enjoy it right
Good.
now.
That's
I
good.
do. I kind of realized I'm a different person. Like, I didn't think I had it in me.
Okay.
And now I'm like, ooh, I'm actually not bad.
Oh, that's
I think
good.
I do. So it makes me feel better about myself.
Right. And also, when you, again, because you're gonna get those phone calls, it'd be like, he's parked in front of my house again. It'd be like, what do you, so
Right.
you'll have to learn how to delegate and sometimes be the, oh, you suck.
Yeah.
You're gonna get that. I voted for you and you're horrible. So you're gonna get like that feedback, right?
Right.
But it looks like that you've kind of made it your own now.
Right, I have.
Okay, that's good.
It's funny, my sister called me the other day and she's like, oh, there's a cat stuck in my tree and it won't come out. I go, oh my God, really? I'll come and get it. And she goes, no, I'm just trying to point out what kind of calls you'll get. That wasn't nice. I was ready
be
to
careful
come
because
get it.
because if you say you're a cat lover, you're gonna get everyone. There's a cat,
Yes.
and you'll be out there with the little cage and be like,
I will.
that's good though.
Only my vet says don't try to trap at night because you'll get raccoons.
See, but that's good.
Yeah.
That's something that you've not brought to the table that someone else might do. Mm-hmm. Volunteers, they're an important part, and
Right.
although you're being in a paid position, you've decided to put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Volunteers are important, like you said. If you want to not lower taxes but reduce it, the more
Right.
volunteers you get to do things, that means
Right.
the less money that's being paid out. And understanding that, in the end of the day, out of the taxes, out of every dollar, about 33 cents comes from the town, and a huge percentage comes from schools and other things. How are you going to? You said you're basically going to have your own little group of volunteers.
Yes, sir.
So how will you manage that? How will you put it out there? And how will you sustain that to make those volunteers not only help you but the community?
Well, as I was going door to door, people were saying they would love to get, have some say in everything. And I'm like, well, it's great because if I get elected, I would love to have people that are actually captains of the neighborhoods. And I don't know, find out what people are passionate about, and then see if they're willing
You might be another
to
cat
put that
lover,
passion into something.
right? And be like, hey, you could be
right.
in my ward's TNR program.
Right, exactly. So see what they're passionate about. Maybe some are like, it's been seeing a lot of trash around here lately. Well, you know what? Let's start a group maybe to get together to clean up, the town and make it look
Actually,
better.
right now there's an amazing group of volunteers who are doing that. They're taking it upon their own and doing it. This is personally an exceptional job, and not only cleaning up the town, literally, but they're showing their pride and bringing pride back, and people are paying more attention. So stuff like that is what you're saying to be
Yes.
part of that.
Yes.
And kind of understanding that if you get elected, it's not going to be the Jackie Hurdle show, right?
Right. Oh, I know
Like
that.
you can
Trust me, I
right?
don't want it to be.
You can promise everything,
Yes.
but at the end of the day, you're going to have to get a majority of council
Right.
to agree to move somewhere, and it may take months, right?
Right. It could.
Like-
If you have to wait for it, you have to wait for it.
So how do you think you were going to be at building consensus to either for something that you want to have people agree so we can move it forward, or give input on things that are being brought that not you're against, but you just want to question and then, build a consensus or be part of a consensus to move forward. How do you feel that?
We just all need to sit and discuss everything, not just argue about it. The pros, the cons, how the residents feel about the issues.
Okay.
That kind of thing. You can't just push your way and I want it this way or it's no way at all.
Okay.
Because in discussing it, someone else might change their mind about it even,
Okay. Or you might change your mind, right?
Yeah,
You'd be like, oh.
yeah. But I think with the residents, the input I get from the residents will be very important.
And how do you feel you're going to become familiar with, or how have you become familiar with the workings of government, right? Because you said it's like, well, I don't, you weren't told anything. How have you become familiar with, or plan to become familiar with, how meetings work, how government works, how budgets work, and stuff like that?
I went to a couple of council meetings, and there are some on TV that you can watch. And I took part in some.
Okay.
When we had issues on our street, but I don't know, when we would come home from work, because I don't know if you're familiar with the Zumba.
Oh, yes.
Okay, the fitness studio. I don't think it was, I don't know, they were signed up the way it was zoned.
Okay.
And the parking was out of control.
Okay.
There were nights when I would come home and you couldn't get parking. Had to park on the other side of the train tracks.
Okay.
And then sometimes people would do things to my car for parking over there.
Okay.
So, and at that point, I didn't even know you could go to a councilman and ask for help.
Okay.
Anything like that. And now I know. But I had to go and speak and try to say my part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you'd like to let listeners and residents in your ward know about you and your candidacy?
Just that I will be responsive.
But he's so funny when he says that.
I need you, the residents, to know what is going on in town so that you have a say in everything.
Okay.
I think that's very important.
I love when he does that because I'm like, well, whatever you want.
Mike does it to everybody.
Okay, that's fine. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. And hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay.